Everyone, welcome to the Accounting 101 class. Today we're going to talk about transaction analysis. Before you go into this video, you should have already gone through the accounting equation video. As a reminder, the accounting equation is always true. This is the main framework behind accounting. The accounting equation is assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. As a reminder, assets are something of current or future value, so things like bank accounts, inventory, accounts receivables. Liabilities are going to be things that the company owes other people or other businesses, such as they've purchased inventory on account, they haven't paid for it yet. That's called an accounts payable. There are other liabilities such as loans or credit cards. And then we have plus owner's equity. Now, if you remember, owner's equity can be expanded to equal owner's contributions. Sometimes we just call this the owner's equity account, but I've kind of broken it out to owner's contributions so you can see it separate. It's increased by revenue, it's decreased by expenses, and then it is decreased by owner's distributions, okay? So our expanded accounting equation is assets equals liabilities plus owner's contributions plus revenue minus expenses minus owner's distributions. Now, when we look at transaction analysis, we are going to be looking at this from a perspective of double entry accounting. And what that means in double entry accounting, your transaction is going to hit at least two accounts. Okay, at least two accounts. For example, if an owner contributes money, owner's contributions would go up, as would an asset account for the bank account. Okay, so I'm going to show you how that works, but we are looking at this from a double entry accounting perspective. I've had some people say, listen, I just use QuickBooks, I don't use double entry. In reality, QuickBooks, Wave, Odoo, Sage, Xero, all of those bookkeeping software, Zoho, those are all double entry accounting systems. It's just you don't see the two sides of it. So sometimes you forget that it's a double entry system. All of those are double entry systems. Excel would be an example of a single entry system. Single entry systems are not as preferred as double entry systems because they're not as easy to catch errors and they don't follow this accounting equation. So pretty much all small businesses should follow a double entry accounting system. If you have a partnership, an S corporation or a C corporation, you better have a double entry accounting system. Sole proprietorships sometimes get away with single entry. I just don't advise it. And all publicly traded companies, nonprofits, and government entities use a double entry system. Let's go into some examples. I want to kind of dive right in. And I want to kind of explain what these transactions look like. So let's do some examples. Owner contributes $5,000 to the business. So the first thing that we want to think about is, does this change any of the accounts here in the accounting equation? Does this change an asset, a liability, or an equity account? And the answer is yes, right? We're getting cash into the business and the owner is contributing that money. So here we're going to say, okay, this $5,000 is going to go into cash, which is this asset account. I'm putting cash, you might have a checking account or something along those lines, okay? Each checking account, credit card, savings account will have its own account in the chart of accounts. We'll go over that in a different video. I'm going to call it cash just to make it simplified, but this could be a checking account or a savings account. And then we're going to have $5,000 increase in an owner's contribution account, okay? So we are hitting an asset account with the cash and an owner's equity account with the owner's contribution account. Okay, an owner meets with the new customer or with a new customer and discusses a potential contract. Does anything change in an asset, a liability, or an owner's equity account? No, nothing here changes. No money was exchanged. Nobody owes anybody anything, right? So the business doesn't owe the customer anything. The customer doesn't owe the business anything. Nothing has changed here. So you're going to have a lot of, actions in the business that have nothing to do with financial reporting. There's going to be so much. And owners may sit down and have a board meeting and discuss, the changes for next year and what they want to do. There's no concrete financial transactions right there, so there's nothing to record on the books. Okay, there's nothing there. So a lot of times in the day-to-day, especially with like small businesses, you're not going to have a lot of transactions. And that's okay. Not everything needs to be recorded. And some people might say, well, this is a new customer. That new customer is worth something, right? If I were to go sell that business with a new customer, that would be worth something more than a business without a customer. Yes, but remember, we have to be able to measure these economic activities, and we can't measure that financially, right? It would all be speculation at that point. We could say, oh, well, in general, new customers, we get $50,000 lifetime revenue from them. We don't know that this new customer is going to provide that. That would be an estimate, and accounting doesn't deal with estimates, okay? We deal with concrete data that we can put a financial number on. Okay, let's move on. The owner provides $10,000 worth of services to the customer, and the customer pays right away. So this customer ended up buying services for $10,000. The owner goes out, performs those services, and then gets paid $10,000 cash. So have we had an asset, a liability, and or an owner's equity account affected? Yes, we have. So we have increased an asset by $10,000. So we've increased an asset, this cash, right, by $10,000. And we have increased revenue, which is, in that expanded owner's equity definition, we've increased revenue by $10,000. Okay. The owner pays $2,000 to an employee. Now this gets a little bit more complicated once we talk about payroll, taxes, and that kind of thing. This is a very simplified version that we're going to go with for now. Does an asset change? Does a liability change, or an owner's equity account? The answer here is yes. We have an increase in payroll expenses by $2,000. That is an expense account, which is part of the owner's equity kind of group of accounts, right? And then we have paid out $2,000 from our cash, our asset. So we've had a decrease in assets and an increase in expenses, which is an owner's equity. It closes into owner's equity, right? So revenue and expenses are actually their own kind of category of account. They just close into owner's equity, and it ties into the equity section of your simplified accounting equation. Okay, the company pays $5,000 for inventory. Do we have assets, liabilities, or owner's equity that is changing? Yes. Inventory is an asset, so we have increased our inventory by $5,000. We have decreased our cash by $5,000. So this hit two asset accounts, and that's okay. You can have an increase in an asset and a decrease at the same time. Now, we record inventory at the cost that we pay for it. Okay, even though the inventory, we might be able to turn around and sell this for $15,000, it doesn't matter. We are going to record inventory at the amount that we paid for it. Remember that historic cost principle, okay? That's where that comes in. Now, the customer picks up $3,000 worth of inventory and agrees to pay $9,500 for it, but they haven't paid yet, okay? They say, all right, we've come pick up $3,000 worth of inventory. They don't know that it's $3,000, right? We've just marked it up to $9,500. So they say, we're going to accept paying $9,500 for this. We'll pay you in 30 days, okay? Has any asset, liability, or owner's equity accounts changed? Yes, and you're going to notice there's a lot of stuff going on here, okay? So when you make a sale of inventory like this, we have two separate kind of transactions that we have to make. One, we have to record the actual revenue, right? And the revenue that we're going to recognize is $9,500 because that's what our customer is going to agree to pay. So we are going to increase an accounts receivable, which is an asset, by $9,500 because that client is going to owe us that money. So we are going to record an accounts receivable for $9,500. We are also going to record a revenue of $9,500. So we have a revenue account here. That's going to increase by $9,500 because we made a $9,500 sale. But now we have to get that inventory off of our books, right? We gave $3,000 worth of inventory away, not gave it away, but we sold it, and it's off the books now. So how do we record that? we're going to increase an expense account called cost of goods sold for $3,000. This is a type of expense account, okay, and it is called cost of goods sold. This is where we record the cost of goods or products that we sell. Okay, it's kind of self-explanatory. This is shortened, sometimes we refer to this by COGS. C-O-G-S, COGS. COGS stands for cost of goods sold. So we are going to increase this expense account, cost of goods sold, by $3,000, and we're going to decrease our inventory by $3,000 because that $3,000 worth of inventory, we no longer own it. It's gone. Okay? Now, our customer comes in and pays that $9,500 on the receivables. Have we had assets, liabilities, or equity changed? Yes. We have increased $9,500 in cash. This is an asset, right? And we have decreased $9,500 in accounts receivable. So we have increased one asset, cash, and we've decreased another, which is accounts receivable. So we've only affected asset accounts here. Okay, the company purchases $6,500 in inventory on credit. So have we changed assets, liabilities, or owner's equity? Yes. We have increased our inventory, right, by $6,500. Inventory is an asset account, so we have increased this inventory by $6,500. And we have increased the liability. So we've increased accounts payable because we purchased this on credit. So we have not paid our vendor yet. So our asset account for inventory is going to go up, and our liability account, accounts payable, is also going to go up by $6,500. Okay? Okay, now the owner is going to withdraw $3,000 in cash. Do we have an asset, liabilities, or owner's equity account? Yes. We have increased owner's drawing, right, by $3,000. That's an equity account. So we've increased that. Our owner has taken out $3,000. We've increased that drawing account. And we have decreased our cash account, which is an asset account. So we have gone through and we have looked at examples for each of these types of accounts. And we have seen how they increase and they decrease. And we see how we always have two sides to every transaction, right? We have $3,000 here and $3,000 there. Sometimes we will have compound entries where we have more than two accounts that are being affected. An example of a compound entry would be the sale of that inventory, right? Because we had to record the revenue and then the accounts receivable, but then we also needed to record cost of goods sold and inventory. So you'll see sometimes to where we have compound entries where we deal with more than two separate accounts. But in double entry accounting, we always have at least two accounts that we are dealing with, okay? And sometimes it'll be something like we've transferred money from a checking account to a savings account, and so you're just moving money around, but we record that in the books, okay? Now, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. Now that we understand transaction analysis, we are going to dive into debits and credits. So our accounting equation is probably the most important concept in accounting. Debits and credits are going to be the second most important concept when it comes to learning accounting. Without understanding debits and credits, you can't utilize an accounting software, okay? And you can't go through the full cycle of accounting. You also can't troubleshoot. So we are going to dive into that next, and then we'll move on into like full cycle of accounting, and you'll see how this all works. We're just going to kind of dive right in, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time.